It's
Another day we're fortunate to be breathing, another opportunity to continue achieving. Welcome to Practical Pivot, everyone, the show where two average guys discuss small steps we can take to change the direction of our lives. I'm Mike.
and I'm Sean.
And today we're going to step off script a little bit, and we're not going to discuss like a question or a topic as normal. Sean attended a home buying class this past week, and we're just going to have a conversation about that, get his thoughts, maybe some of the stuff he learned, and yeah, just have an open discussion. So, Sean, how was your week?
The week was good. I mean, nothing new. The kids are still sick, and I went to the doctor. There's a bunch of things we did, dentist appointments. I mean, a bunch of family stuff. Last Thursday, though, I did end up going to a home buying workshop. It wasn't necessarily like a first time home buyers workshop, but it was put on by a mortgage company that kind of talked about the process and took out some of the stigma of like what it is to buy a house. And obviously, by going there, you probably know we don't own. And I just like to take the time this and share it.
Yeah,
So
cool,
that's basically what was the highlight of my week. What about you, Mike? Anything happened to you last week that you want to share with us?
Highlights. No, nothing. Nothing worth highlighting. I had a pretty stressful week last week, but nothing, nothing really special. My daughter was dealing with a little bit of cold too for a few days, but she's feeling better now. And yeah, other than that, I mean, same old boring schedule, boring week, man.
Right, for sure. Maybe the highlight was like Friday after you got off work and you went somewhere or something like that. You just do that. The week was over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's yeah, I'm happy. So it's all good. It's all good.
Okay. Cool.
So,
Cool. So the highlight is for me and what I want to talk about as far as like sharing the stuff. When me and my wife first got married, we lived in an apartment. We lived in apartments most of our adult lives and really didn't know what it took to own a home. And we got pre-qualified years ago. And at the time, the market wasn't the best, and we didn't find anything we liked, so we kind of let it go. And we decided we wanted to rent a house at first, and I'm glad we did because there's a bunch of things that we would have never thought about. But now we're ready to buy. And I've been using Zillow, which I'm sure you guys have known about, or Redfin as well, just the apps and looking and seeing what things are going for right now. And I've done a lot of my own research with it, but I really wanted to, and I saw this free workshop that was put on locally, and obviously I want to go get like some professionals opinions and advice about what it was to take to like buying a home. So obviously I haven't gone through the process, but Mike, obviously, we know you have.
right.
Is there anything you would like to share just about this initial, like how you felt about going into like buying your home or anything like that?
I was excited, honestly. I think we saw, I want to say like 50
Damn.
houses before we pulled the trigger on one. Well, I shouldn't say before we pulled the trigger because we did put a we put a bid on one house, man, and I was so adamant about not going over what our budget was, and
Hmm.
I let I know it was $2,000. I think it was $2,000. About 2 grand in a refrigerator
Oh,
to get us out that deal because I wanted the fridge that was in the house. I'm like, man, I want the fridge too. But anyway,
okay.
so
Hey,
yeah, that
that
was a
is
crazy.
something new that I learned.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's like fall in love with the house. Now that I look at it and I reflect on it, it's like that was so stupid on my part because how hard would it have been just to get the same fridge or get another fridge, right?
Right,
But
right.
yeah, it was a cool little experience though because I regretted it, but I'm happier now and I like the neighborhood that we live in now much more than I like
Oh,
that one.
okay.
But as far as my experiences and what I learned, I would say be patient, prepare for a little bit of a heartbreak. You know, don't get try not to get too emotionally attached to any property. Just look at it as from an investment perspective. If you can, I know it's like family, it's kids, so it's going to be some emotion tied into it. But
Right.
at the end of the day, you're going to have a budget. You're going to know what you're willing to spend. And the seller, that they have their own agenda, so you just stick to what it is that you want to do, and don't overextend yourself by
Yeah.
letting emotions get the best of you. That would be my advice.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and it's crazy because everything you said was true about just us looking online and not really, going through the pre-approval process again, but just, you sit there and you're like, oh man, I love it, I love it, I love it, and it's like 20 grand over your budget, and that can make or break a mortgage. So for sure, so me and the wife, when we've been looking online, we've been looking at what's more realistic, something we decided we wanted to have more outdoor living space. So if the house has to be a little bit smaller, that's fine, as long as we have more outdoor living space. And obviously, you've seen in previous backgrounds, we do own a boat that we would like to have side access, and a bunch of little things that we would like. So anyway, obviously the first step is to get a mortgage, or get secure your financing. And so the way you do that is you would go through a mortgage company, depending on if you went to a bank or a mortgage broker or whatever. We went to a mortgage company, or the mortgage company is the one that put on this workshop. So, they basically let you know, you're going to need this, and this. And what they really emphasized is that you really don't know where you stand as far as buying a home until you actually go and try to go get pre-approved, and that you shouldn't get pre-approved until you shouldn't shop until you get pre-approved, so you know what you're looking for as far as, just like what Mike said, what you're willing to spend or what your budget is or anything like that. So
I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that.
So yeah, sorry. Got the kids right here, and one was coughing in the monitor, so that's why I looked. But so that's the first thing you want to do. You definitely want to do, again, we have a family, so schools was a big thing. Obviously the neighborhood, no crime, and then location. Like, we wanted to have like a corner lot, because at least on one side of the house you don't have neighbors. So again, a couple things that we wanted on our checklist. So what we kind of decided on, and again, like I said, the cool thing about using the app is you get a little preview of like, okay, this is what's available right now. And you can use these apps to say you want however many rooms and however many bedrooms. And it's fun to look, but you really can't really like seriously look until you go secure your financing. And I think, right, like when Mike said, that's one of those times where you might have to be ready for a little heartbreak, because what you want may not necessarily be what you could afford or what you're willing to pay. So,
yeah, that becomes tough, man. But at the end of the day, you want to be comfortable too, right? I mean, so it's sort of one of those things where, yeah, sure, this house is bigger or nicer, and it has this and that. But at the end of the day, I don't want to, as soon as I sign those papers, like, oh man, now I'm losing sleep, stressed out because I got a mortgage to meet. Like, no,
right.
I do not want those problems. So yeah, just, it's good to get the pre-approval first, see what you're working with, and then just look and feel confident that you're going to do it within your means,
Right. So going into this, I had one major question, and obviously was, I guess my major question was, how does married credit work towards the pre-approval? Because I kind of didn't know, as you guys know, the wife is stay at home, so she doesn't bring in additional income. So kind of want to know, like, well, what is the process? So what they basically said is, they answered the question, would they take the middle of the person who has the lower credit score? So in my case, that's me. She has better credit than I do. So again, so we're thinking, okay, they'll take hers or whatever, but it's really, they're taking the lesser of the two. Mm-hmm. So the way you go about getting set up is like, we got to make sure we're not only helping build her credit, but we're also helping build my credit as well. So that now that I know that they'll be taking mine, I have to, we have to basically change the way we're trying to knock certain bills out and to get us qualified, get us in a position to qualify. So I thought that was pretty interesting. That was like one of the main things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is your experience with like credit and stuff like that, Mike? What can you say you did, or what are some things? And I think you've said this in previous episodes that you do to kind of keep your credit in check. Or
well, now, and I think I told you, and I believe I did say it on a previous episode, that I got rid of my credit cards. Man, I'm like, gone, debt free. Like, okay. I'm trying to be debt free. I mean, I am at this time, with the exception of the mortgage. That's it.
Okay.
But in preparing for the house, it was interesting because when we went to get qualified, my wife, she didn't have enough credit established. And they were like, well, we can't, she doesn't have any like real credit history. So we had to wait, I want to say like 9 months or a year, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Before, yeah. So when we did it, we did something which is absolutely crazy. Most people would, in hindsight, I wouldn't do it this way, but it kind of just happened like that because she needed a car anyway. So we bought a car right before we were about to buy a house, which is completely backwards. But that's what we did, and it worked out.
Okay.
But yeah, so we bought the car. I had like co-signed on a car so she could establish her credit. And let me see. I think it was about 9 months. 9 months later, we tried again, and everything just worked out. So we got pre-qualified. We were looking before we got pre-qualified too. Like, we would go to open houses, but we were just nosy. We would go to open houses. We go look at model homes. Do all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And once we got pre-qualified, we knew what we were working with. We had the realtor come, and she took us and showed us a bunch of places, and we ended up changing realtors.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate. Wow. Yeah, we changed for reasons I won't even go into, but
right. And there was a topic of discussion about that too, so I'll share my experience with it as well.
But yeah, we changed, and we went with a friend of my mother's who was really big help and just kind of like giving us game on like areas and what to look for, what not to look for. And yeah, so I mean, to this day, I'm happy. I'm not gonna say that for sure this is gonna be a forever home, but I'm good. I'm happy. It's not really big or anything like that, but I'm happy.
Okay, cool. So, and for those of you out there that are also in my particular situation, and and I'm fortunate to have Mike to be able to bounce off, experiences with. I didn't know this is a really big process. So not only do you go get your pre-approval, but then you want to find an agent. And so you have the mortgage lending company or your mortgage team, and then you have a realtor, and then you'll have, I believe there's 4 sections. You have your realtor, and then you have your escrow company, and then you have a title company. And basically that whole team of people work together to actually get you pre-qualified for your home. Your agent is going to be the person that basically does a lot of the groundwork for you. They're going to be the ones that you tell them exactly what you want, what's on your wish list, where you want to be. They'll give you advice about, like Mike said, different areas, and they'll do a lot of footwork. And the 2 things that they're called the loan ladies had basically said, and I'll call them the loan ladies, had said, was that you want to work with, when you're picking an agent, because I have a friend that's an agent, but he's about 40 minutes away, about maybe close to an hour away, versus finding somebody local. And he said, you want to definitely go with somebody that you're comfortable with, because they're going to do a lot of footwork for you. Mm-hmm. But also you got to think about, like, if your person's an hour away, how readily available are they going to be for you to show you houses or to shoot questions and, off. And, again, how readily available are they going to be ready for you? So as much as I would love to use my friend that's an agent, he's about 40 minutes to an hour away. There may be a house that's in the place that I want to look. And, if it's like a hot house or whatever, he may not be able to get, to show us. And then, then we'd have to go look at the house by ourselves. And they said, take your agent everywhere. Like if you're looking, take your agent everywhere. Even if you go to the new construction places, take your agent everywhere, and let them show you. Don't ever look at a house by yourself, because they'll be able to point stuff out that you wouldn't think about. Like, by initially walking through the home, that they'll be able to identify this and help you find your vision. And then lastly, on the agent part, is the agent and the lenders don't get paid until the deal closes. So this could be months, them working with you for months, looking for that perfect home and stuff like that. And so you want to make sure that you pick somebody that you're super comfortable with, and that they're going to, knowing that you're going to do that, or knowing that they're going to do all this extra work for you, that, in the end, it's going to pay off for them as well. So, like I said, as much as I would love to use them and, give them my business, I kind of was like, well, maybe I should just go with somebody that's more local, that already has a camaraderie, with the mortgage company, and they work well together. And because this is going to be a really big process. So you want to be with somebody that's more, that you're comfortable with, and that knows, where you want to live, not somebody that, oh, well, I could show you some listings and I could help you with the paperwork, but really don't have any ins and outs of the neighborhood that you're looking at. So I thought that was very interesting as far as the agent part goes.
Yeah, the agent definitely needs to be somebody who you have a good working relationship with, and is understanding and patient, especially being a first-time home buyer. They really have to be patient, because you almost don't know what you're looking for.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, this, I don't like that. You tripping off a paint color, something that's like super minor to fix, but that's all you focused on. It's like, oh, this is ugly, so it's good to have that guidance and have them, their expertise, and have them kind of walk you through. And it's like, look, you can spend $800 in this room, $1,000 in this room, and get, $10,000 equity, right. Just like that, just by painting and fixing this and that and this and that. So yeah, you definitely want that.
Right.
So I got a question for you real quick. What would you say are your two biggest takeaways from the class?
The credit aspect, and the timeline. Like, I didn't understand escrow, and how long it takes to close a deal. I didn't, when we looked at mortgages, there's only two that we saw, which is FHA and a conventional loan. Like, I didn't know that there are so many different loans out there, or different loan products that are available for people in different situations. So I didn't know that. So that was one of my biggest takeaways. And then the timing of it all. They said, you could close escrow in 21 days, but but that's like, the team has to be like boom, 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 boom once the contract has been accepted. And kind of like what you had said, I didn't realize you guys could negotiate with the buyer for certain things. Like you had said, I wanted that refrigerator and, a $2,000 reduction on the sale price or whatever it was.
Right.
I didn't realize that you could do that. Right. They talked about, the certain, you want to get the roof inspection, the termite inspection, and like all these different things that you don't have to get, but it's what is it? It's highly suggested that you get these.
Oh, absolutely. And then, it's like you won't want to buy a car that you haven't got inspected, you think about a house, something you're gonna pay on for a lot longer.
Right. And then the thing about the appraisal, and again, I just didn't know these little ins and outs, and that's what I'd have to say. Like, they gave me a lot of information about understanding. Like, when they say this is what the down payment is, well, then you also have to have this chunk of money for your inspections, and that's non-refundable money. So again, when you're sitting here looking at these houses and making these decisions, you just don't want to put bids on multiple houses or whatever. You really want to be serious, because you are going to be dumping additional money. So
right.
Just the understanding of the whole process of buying a home, and since it is going to be the biggest purchase of your life, especially right now or whatever the case is, You want to go with people that you feel you could trust. And, that's one of the reasons why, like, a lot of home mortgage companies are like online now. And I specifically wanted to go to somebody that was local. I could walk into their office and deal with somebody that I could look face to face and see if I'm going to be comfortable dealing with these people, especially if they're basically going to be able to take my life by pulling my credit and all this stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. Understandable. Definitely understandable. Oh, that's good, man. That seems like it was a good experience and you got a lot from it.
Oh yeah. We're going to end up going, at least I obviously talking to the wife or whatever. But I would like to go with them because they are local, and I just like the vibe that they had. So, cool. I'm excited. I'm excited about the process, and I think, if you're interested in buying a home, the best thing you can do is go to one of these workshops that's local. Take the time out. It was like a 2-hour deal, but a lot of questions were asked, and I took a lot from it. So yeah, if you're going to put your life savings into it. You want to be as educated as you can. Oh, and then one last thing, maybe not the last thing, but one thing that now comes to my mind is you don't need, like, a lot of people think you need 20% down. That equates to $100,000. So they don't even think about buying a home. When there's, again, I didn't know, there's different mortgage products out there that could have you come with only 3.5% or 4% or something. There's other things with first-time home buyers where they'll do down payment assistance and closing cost assistance. Like, it was very, very motivating to know that we may be able to qualify now, not having to have $80,000 in the bank. And so I thought that was actually one of the major takeaways too. Like, you don't have to have a huge amount of money,
right,
to go into a home. So,
right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good, man. I'm glad you got to experience that. Yeah, like I said, it can be a stressful situation and it can be heartbreaking, but it is an experience and an investment that most people should make. Not everybody, but I would say the vast majority of people should invest, get a home, and start building wealth for your family.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about it for today. Looks like that's about all the time we have for today's show. I appreciate your input, Sean. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I'm just excited. Like, even if we don't, pre-qualify for what we want right now, I'm just excited to be able to go through the process. So
cool. I'm excited for you, man. I like genuinely am excited for you.
Cool.
All right. Well, everybody, we'd like to hear from you about the topic. So join the conversation and leave a comment below. If you like the show, like, subscribe, and share. Hit the little bell icon so you don't miss out on any future episodes.
And if you have any questions, comments, or emotional outbursts, you can hit us up on Twitter. It's @PracticalPivot. You can email us at practicalpivot@gmail.com. You can also head over to SeanFlack.com and click on the YouTube channel tab for web access to this and all of our previous episodes. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.